Well, this is the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and it's a nice show this afternoon because the vast majority is based on what other people are saying. Fabrizio Romano, Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, a little bit from Christian Falk as well. So lots of updates on the situation with Manchester United as it stands, what's been going on, how the Reguilon deal fell apart from Fabrizio Romano, talking about players that we might be bringing in like Perisic and Kingsley Coman and Douglas Costa, left-back options, Sancho, and lots of other things. So looking forward to going through this because I think, you know, like me, I think a lot of you like to get information that, you know, is close to the club and what we've been doing. We're going to talk about Sancho, but let me just talk about what Fabrizio Romano said about the Reguilon deal, because I think we need to move on from this. We need to move on from it. We're not getting him. He's going to Spurs. But what he basically said was that basically Fabrizio Romano referred to the fact that United weren't interested, etc., that they thought it was a bit of a bidding war. And Glazers and Eder are disgraced, Woodward out, says 3072. What he said was Manchester United were working on a deal for Reguilon. They were interested. The issue was they only wanted to play 20 million euro, and they'd said no to 30 million euro. They definitely didn't want a release clause. And whilst this negotiating was going on, and it was the fee that needed to be sorted first, because United didn't want to pay 30 million euro, they wanted to play 20 million euro, Spurs got involved. And even at that point, there was a feeling that Spurs wouldn't be able to do the deal because Reguilon himself was, let me get this right, he was happy to come to Manchester United, and that's where he felt he was going because of the Champions League. So Reguilon wanted to come to Manchester United, and that Jose Mourinho changed the deal because Jose Mourinho actually got on the phone to Reguilon and convinced him that Spurs was the place to come, and hence that's why here we go for Tottenham Hotspur. So I mean, there's a few things to pick the pips out of there. Welcome to the Members Club, Lee Mahoon. Thank you very much. But effectively, Man United would never. I suppose the release clause was always going to be a stumbling block, but United didn't want to pay 30 million euro. Spurs did. The player wanted to come to Manchester United, but Spurs came in. They wanted to pay the money, and the manager spoke to the player, and the deal got done. And there endeth the lesson. You know, I mean, there are lessons there. I would not have wanted us to pay a release clause. Fabrizio Romano says that actually the release clause means that Real Madrid can buy him back for 40 million euro in the next 2 years. So it was never a deal that would have worked for Manchester United, but let's not pretend that the release clause was the reason that it didn't happen. We were not willing to spend 30 million euros. We wanted to pay 20 million euros, which is, you know, 20 million euros is like 15 million pounds. It's that just absolutely baffles me. But as the Muppeteers were saying on Twitter today, they quoted my tweet and they basically said this actually fits in. United, it wasn't a priority position. It was a position that they know they need to improve in, and if they could get a cheap one, they would do it. But they didn't ever want to spend a real price on one, and I think that's probably true. I think, you know, maybe we'll go for Tellez because he's 20 million euro, but we weren't willing to pay a lot of money for a left back, and I think we thought we had a clear run at it, and we didn't. So, you know, the deal's gone. It's gone, and that's the way. That's where we are. So that's a Fabrizio Romano update. Rasmus says, was my birthday yesterday. 5 years older after this transfer window since last birthday. I hope we will be better from today, the 15th of September 21 on. Happy birthday, pal. Thank you for that. Thanks everyone who is becoming a member, by the way. Thanks for the support. United are like millionaires eating 7p baked beans, says Devil's Re. I remember those 7p baked beans. I remember those days. We've not all been there. Some of us haven't been poor, but I do remember those 7p poor. They're probably cheaper than that when I used to get them. Actually, they might have been 5p baked beans. People are like, "What's he talking about? Baked beans? Beans." Anyway, we'll talk about Sancho and then we'll go into other areas because there's a lot to get through. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. We have got an 8 o'clock show tonight as well. So that's the situation on Reguilon. Romano also, this is on the Romano's Here We Go podcast that he does. It gets released at about 2 o'clock every Wednesday now. It's only his second episode actually. So and you can, if you go onto Fabrizio Romano on Twitter, you can find that and get it on Patreon. He said on Sancho, this is standby situation. Manchester United are still negotiating for Sancho. Sancho has told Dortmund that he will not go on strike. He's going to be respectful. But he wants to go to United if United pay the price for him. Manchester United need to offer 120 million euros, blah, blah, blah. They did make an offer a month ago on an official bid and that got knocked down. And as things stand, Sancho is still the number one option for Manchester United, and it's on standby. Let's see what happens next. Which, you know, is pretty much where we are with that one. But you know, it only goes to show that, you know, it's ongoing. Do you reckon people need to be patient on the Sancho deal and realise that this will be the biggest transfer in English history and be patient about it because this will happen? Says Ben Ronaldo. I think you've got to be patient. I don't think you have to be patient. I think you've got to be patient because what else have you got? I think I personally think, and I said this to Flex yesterday, this Sancho deal, whether you're in or out, and he's out, he doesn't think Sancho's going to happen, I do. But I said to him, mate, he was like, I'm bored, I'm fed up of it, I don't want to talk about it. And I said, but it doesn't matter whether you're bored or you're fed up of it or you don't think it's going to happen, because all the way until October, Sancho to United is going to carry on until the transfer window shuts, or Jadon Sancho comes out and says, I'm not leaving Dortmund. That's the only two things that's going to end this. Dortmund saying he's not for sale won't work, because they've done that before with other players. So it's either Sancho comes out and says he's staying, or we go all the way to October. So you've got to be patient, definitely. Do I think patience is justified? No. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have his player in place now for the start of the season. So I don't think patience, because it's a big transfer fee, is relevant. Chelsea have managed to do about 50 deals and get a big deal in like Havertz, so we could have got it done quicker. We haven't got it done quicker. We know why we haven't done it quicker, because we can't do it any quicker and we're not very good at transfers. But I think we've got to be patient, but I don't think patience is justified. Let's make Glazers out trending on Twitter. We have to change something. Glazers will never have a director of football at Man United. That's why they don't want, says 3072. Do you think agents and clubs will start using Romano as well with his publicity to generate interest soon? Great show, Mark, says Akash. He could almost... I don't think Fabrizio would do that. He's too credible, but he could almost be paid. It's a bit like those marketing companies. We'll get your product viral in a day. Well, Fabrizio Romano could say, do you want to sell a player? I can get them virally interested in and say Man United's interested for a small fee. The Reguilon deal was never going to work. I back the board on this. If the player became a star for us, Real would have bought him back for nothing, says Daniel Malinga. And I think there's an element of truth in that. Hi Mark, it's my friend Zachary Evans' birthday. He's a Goldbridge superfan. Could you say happy birthday to him, please? Says Big. Happy birthday to Zachary Evans. Happy birthday, mate, says Parth Trivadi. Welcome to the members club, Sam and Joachim Nielsen. Thank you for joining. And we're still meeting tonight, Mark, outside Ed's home, says I want to know, Jermaine Defoe. You'll be on your own, mate. I don't condone anything like that. So, yeah, that's where we are with Sancho. He also mentioned alternatives to Jadon Sancho, which I think is worth touching on. Douglas Costa, Fabrizio said no, he just cannot play enough games. Manchester United would not be interested in a player like that. Ivan Perisic, he said, has been offered to Manchester United by Inter Milan, and Manchester United have basically said he's not the priority, we'll leave it for now, and Inter Milan are right, okay. So Perisic could become a last day, panic Igalo thing, but Sancho remains the number one priority. And I must just say on that, before we move on, I don't really understand why... I understand why people are frustrated and bored with it, but I don't understand why people are saying Sancho's not going to happen, because you're just guessing. You are just guessing. The evidence is strongly stacked in the fact that United want to do this deal. He's the number one priority, and we want to get him. I think to say he's not going to happen... Maybe it's reverse psychology, I don't know. But and look, I'm not telling you it's definitely going to happen. I think it will. But I don't think there's any value in saying, no, it's not happening. I don't. Ollie and Mourinho are the only two coaches to get third or above. Ollie did it in his first full season. That's since Alec retired, says Cole T. And has United signed anybody in recent history where there was a bidding war? Seems they can't get it done when another club is involved, says Ian Byster. Well, I've said this many a time, Ian. And if answers on a postcard in the live comments, or if people aren't watching, put it in the comments. When was the last time United bought a player where they had strong competition for that player? Because this is why we need a director of football as well. I think because we always try and get people cheap, and because we always try and barter. Look, let's call it a spade here. United were trying to barter Real Madrid to not have a buyback clause, to get the price down. And Spurs just came in and went, there's the price and we'll have the buyback clause because he's a good player and we want him. And United are they're stood there holding their wallet like a prat. The shop's shut. So, yeah, I don't think United, with the current negotiators that we have at the club, are anywhere near capable of competing with, I would hate to think what would have happened if Sancho and if Chelsea had gone in for Sancho, because he'd be wearing the Chelsea shirt. So yeah, I can't think of a player that United have had to compete for and won. Bellingham lost, Haaland lost, Reguilon lost. I'm trying to stay positive, but whenever I do, I remember this is the same board that last time waited until deadline day to chase Agallo and Josh King, says Aram Hekmet. And has United signed? Yeah, we've done that one. Okay, so the next player I want to talk about is Thiago. So on Thiago, Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic has said that Liverpool are the firm favourites to get this deal done. And again, it's just slim chance for Manchester United, which is basically what I've been saying for quite a while. But Christian Falk this afternoon has said that Wijnaldum is still quite a big factor in that. So Liverpool would be the firm favourites, and that's the place that Thiago wants to go to. But these rumours that Manchester United have spoken to Thiago's people are true. There's an outside chance that he could end up at Manchester United, and that Manchester United don't want to lose in the game of poker. Christian Falk always talks about the game of poker, and he says that Manchester United don't want to get into a game of poker with Liverpool about Thiago because they don't want to lose to Liverpool. However, if Liverpool come out of the deal, which they did with Werner, then United could enter and get Thiago. So it's pretty much stable with Thiago. Liverpool are firm favourites. United have a slim chance of doing that deal. But we'll just have to wait and see. But he said that United have spoken to the player and they're still in the race. Fabrizio spoke about Chris Smalling. Again, I sort of side with Manchester United on this because Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester United, Roma have put a bid in of €12 million for Chris Smalling, which is actually, under £10 million. I think 15 million for Smalling is a fair price. So, in fairness to United on Smalling, if they've turned down 15 million, then that's plonkerish. But if they've turned down €12 million, I think they're right there. I think we need to. You need to be. The thing about Smalling is he actually had a very good season last season on loan at Roma. The world saw that. The European market saw that. So 15 million for Chris Smalling, who was one of the best centre-backs in Serie A last season. I don't think United are wrong to push for the fee that they want. Fabrizio says that Smalling and Roma can still very much happen and that Roma wants him. But yet again, it's a pain, isn't it? Because you just want to get that money in the bank. And it may well happen, but it really wish it could have happened before because we would have that money in the bank. Salah Ahmed says, Mark, a question in regards to your career mode with Villa. Which one of Malan's goal was better? Long range versus United in Season 1 or goal versus Liverpool? Says Salah Ahmed. Check out my Villa career mode on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. I can't remember the one against United, but the Liverpool one was good last night. Yesterday was too much of an emotional roller coaster, says Stephen Cherney. I don't think Glazers know or care how much it affects us. Avoiding Twitter today, except for your shows. It's a better day on Twitter today. It's a better day. Welcome to Burke Enhaga, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Is that a Norwegian name? Big up the Norwegian crew. I've got to say, so many. I don't know whether it's coincidental with Ollie. I used to notice quite a few Norwegian Manchester United fans, but there is so much passion for Manchester United in Norway. So and everywhere, everywhere around the world, of course, shout out to the Indonesian massive and, to India, America, everywhere around the world. But, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is our manager. He's Norwegian, and it's great to see all the Norwegians getting involved because I know that they're very, very passionate about United. And I think that's the most important thing, as I said this morning. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did a good job last season after a very bad start. And I think we were right to be critical. I even said after the Burnley game, I think he's got to go. I think he has got to go. But then they got Bruno in, and I was like, you know what? This is the player they should have given him in the summer. Let's see what happens. And we never really looked back. I think the problem with Solskjaer is that he doesn't have a bench. And going into this new season, he still doesn't have a bench. He's got one player, Van der Beek. That is not squad depth. I don't see how we've improved from the end of last season. So I feel Solskjaer is going to have problems this season. And we must always try, although it's very hard when you're losing games to your rivals or losing to crap, it's very hard to get back into the summer mentality because you're living the football season. But look, he has not been given the cards this season, has he? United transfer policy equals university student mentality, leave assignments to last minute and scrape a pass where they could start earlier and do better, says the Chitas. I like that. I like that little example. And what was the update on Sancho? Also, why does it take so long to submit a bid for Sancho, says Bon Breezy? Because we're trying to get him. We're trying to get the price down, which we're never going to get. I mean, look, sometimes the truth is staring you straight in the face. You just don't want to open your eyes. Sancho's not going to put a transfer request in. Dortmund are not going to lower the price. So United need to pay the price. And Christian Falk has said it many times on this show as well. Fabrizio Romano has said it many times. The price is €120 million. You pay it or you don't. Now what United need to do is do it in instalments. I said this 5 weeks ago. Dortmund will not want €120 million outright. They'll say they do, and everybody can be negotiated, but they're not going to be negotiated down. What you need to do is say, we will give you €120 million. We will give you 80 million now, and we will give you 40 million next summer, or maybe do it over 3 years. But that is how the deal will be done. I think people panic and go, we're not going to give them €120 million outright. We can't afford it. And I don't think we can, but we can construct a deal, and Dortmund will take it. To me, the fact that Dortmund haven't moved on the price shows how confident they are that United are willing to pay it. It's just a case of when. And look, if you're not, if Dortmund are so adamant that Manchester United are not going to sign Sancho, why are we still talking to Dortmund about it? Why are negotiations still going on? Why has Sancho not come out and said, I'm staying at Dortmund? I think Dortmund have got every right to play this game. To play this game of poker, or whatever you want to call it. Dortmund have got every right to say he's a Dortmund player and he'll be a Dortmund player next season. Because if I've got a Ferrari on my drive, which I bloody haven't and I wish I did, and I want 50 grand for it, and there's a buyer saying, I desperately want that Ferrari, but I'm only going to give you 30 grand, I'm going to go, well, I want 50 grand. Well, I really, really want it, but I want it for 30 grand, but I want 50 grand, and that's my price. And you know what? I'll be driving it round for the next year. Do you know that holiday you wanted to go on, love? We'll take the Ferrari. Well, I want to buy it. Well, you've not given me the money. So next week we're off on holiday. We're driving round the Riviera in France. Probably not allowed because of COVID, but we're not bringing COVID into it. So yeah, I think that Dortmund have got every right to say he's going to be a player next year, he's staying, this, that and the other, because at the moment we haven't paid them the price. But it will change when that happens. Mark, I'm sorry for all the hate because you are kind of the face people focus on. We are angry, we're tired, a revolution is coming, they won't go away, says Magic Eye. And Falk said, Sancho, that time is winding down for Manchester United to do a deal as the window is closing and they don't have time to get a replacement. Thoughts, says Jeff. I don't think that Dortmund need a replacement. I just do not think that Dortmund need a replacement. I think it's a bit of a myth. But I'm sure they would like to have that. And also just an update from somebody I know watches the show. I want to give Fredrik Fieldvelt a shout out, Norwegian journalist. I know he watches the show because he follows me and follows the United stand. And basically he's come out in the last 2 minutes. Let me just read you this. New talks between Solskjaer and Sancho. There, the Norwegian is said to have given notice that he thinks the transition will be soon over, but difficult negotiations remain. So there you go. And I, if you don't follow him on Twitter, at FAFILTVEDT, I've probably not said it right. Fredrik Fieldvelt, and he's saying that Manchester United hope to sign two more players before the end of the transfer window, Jadon Sancho being one of them. And look, people will say, he's only got bloody, he's only got 10,000 followers on Twitter. But Norwegian journalist, Norwegian massive, and as I said, these things are not breaking news to me because I firmly believe that we will sign Jadon Sancho. So, it is what it is on that one. But Ando has put the name for you. But I'll tell you what I'll do on Twitter. If you want to give him a follow, I'll like his. In fact, I'll give his tweet a retweet. There you go. So I've retweeted it off my Twitter at Mark Goldbridge. And you can give him a follow there because Translate is very, very good and it will tell you everything you need to know and you can read the article. And he is quite reliable, says Daniel G. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say publicly why he's reliable, but if you put 2 and 2 together, you might figure it out. Norwegian journalist, Norwegian manager. Anyway, Sancho would have played for Chelsea Monday if they wanted him, says Ben98. And hi Marco, watch your morning shows from USA every day. Keeps me motivated to work out. Keep up the good work. Love the United Stand community, says Hamlet. I can't imagine people working out to this. God, that if I was on a treadmill listening to me, I think I'd collapse. I think I would not be the motivator. With some of the news we've had to give up over the last few days, I would just quit. I wouldn't be able to do anything. Tejas, thank you. I've just mentioned that. And why are we so tight when it comes to transfers? Always trying to knock teams down. Club charges me enough for my season ticket, says Sean Turner. Because it's profits and loss, isn't it? It's always about maximising your profits. If you pay 100 million for Sancho when you could get him for 95 million, you've just saved 5 million. There's your bonus, Ed, for Christmas. So that's Sean Turner. Thoughts on Ahmed Traore? Not a Sancho alternative. Looks like a promising left-footed talent, in my opinion, says Pete Squire. Thanks for that, Pete, actually. I would have forgotten about this. So, Ahmad Traore he's hardly played any football. He's an 18-year-old winger at Atalanta in Italy. Very, very well thought of as a future talent. Manchester United are looking at him. Again, this would evidence the fact that we've got good European scouting networks. And what I would say about Reguilon is that, look, Chilwell cost 50 million. We were trying to get somebody who I think is better than Chilwell for, 25 million. So it does show that United are starting to move into the European scouting network. And look, I know there's a lot to be negative about, but I would say that is a positive. And this would be a positive. The only trouble with Traore is that I think Atalanta will want quite a significant amount of money. And he's definitely not seen as a Sancho alternative because he's not played any real football for Atlanta. So he would be a young player to bring into the squad. So, I mean, look, what they might do is they might get that young player and then go and get Perisic and say, well, look, we've got an old player for a season and then we've got a young player to look forward to. But I don't know. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure out that Dortmund won't budge on the price. Why United still trying to get them to budge, says Kevin Bishop. And hey, Mark, what about other Sancho alternatives? Fabrizio talked about it. Well, we've spoken about it as well, Ange. Perisic, Costa, and we just spoke about Traore there. United don't seem to understand that they aren't negotiating from a position of strength, given that Dortmund don't need to sell, should just pay up, says KRP. Hi, Mark, I truly love this channel, and I'm from Sweden. I have a question. If Jadon Sancho comes to United, are we good enough to win the league? Says Burke and Haga. No, I don't think so, Burke. I mean, we're going to be talking about that over the next couple of days, because as much as it's all been about transfers, we have got a match on Saturday. So we need to start talking about the season ahead and the games ahead. But I don't think that I don't even think if United got a good, if United got Upamecano, Van der Beek and Sancho, I still don't think we can win the league. So I definitely don't think we can win the league at the moment. I wonder if Sancho watches. I would think some players do, especially younger lads, says Dan Mariotti. Well, if he does watch, and I'm sure he probably does pick up on things because social media makes the world small. I think he knows full well that you all want him at the club, and there's a difference between playing for Manchester United and Dortmund. Forget about the quality of the way Dortmund play football or whatever. We're Manchester United. We're a massive club. We're bigger than any club in the Premier League. Like, if you come to Manchester United, the rewards, not just for the financial, not just for playing in front of the crowd at the Theatre of Dreams, but just the aura of playing for Manchester United. Players like Jadon Sancho will know that, and you, all of you, the huge fan base, the adoration. So I wonder if welcome to the members club, Janssen. And also, if we don't sign Kane by October the 6th, can you recommend someone to buy my posters? I tried Edward, but he said he only in instalments, says Robert McCormack. Those second-hand sticky posters, no one's going to want those, Roberts. And Mark the Goat, I thought Ben White looked very good against Chelsea the other day. Interested to see how he does in the Premier League this year, says Bryce Jones. Yeah, they're good. We've got Brighton's second game. I don't think they're going to be easy. For a long period of time, they played Chelsea off the park, so we will have to be on the ball. United aren't a strong enough club to cut their nose off to spite their face, which is happening in this Sancho saga. In life, you get what you deserve, says Dylan Taylor. And Spurs fans happy with Reguilon signing a 5-year deal. I don't think they realise as soon as Real say here, the buyback clause is gone in 2 years, says Sean Turner. And so, but you know what? I think Mourinho is like, I'll be gone in 2 years. So, yeah, I don't think it matters massively on that one. Anyway, look, this is just a very quick update with where we're at. Nice to get a bit of stuff while we're live as well from Fredrik Fieldvet in Norway, Norwegian journalist. Really nice guy, and good. He's reliable, and he's saying, look, Sancho is still on. Expect 2 signings, which I would agree. I think we will still do 2 signings, and I know we're disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Yesterday was a real low, and everybody's feeling the fatigue. But I think today I've just woke up and gone, look, my frustration was aimed at the fact that we're not ready for the start of the season. And that's a real reason to be moaning. It is. Ollie is not equipped for the season. if we beat Palace and we beat Brighton and we get Sancho in, we've got away with it. But if we do drop points against Palace and Brighton, it's on the club. It's not on Ollie because he hasn't had the players that he needs to get in. But I do believe we're still going to get Sancho, and I do believe we'll get another player in. We're just not very well prepared for the season. That's how I feel. So there you go. Anyway, we're back at 8 o'clock. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the video. And look, lots to be positive about. We've got football back at the weekend. And let's hope United can get going in this transfer window. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.